Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a very important Sunday market intelligence brief. Just got off of a conference call with some folks over in Hong Kong. Well, actually, a lot of people on the call, London, Chicago, New York, but mainly over in Hong Kong to see how Asian markets are kind of reacting to us and how our markets closed on Friday. Ladies and gentlemen, over $6 trillion. $6 trillion in value lost in the last 6 trading days. $3.6 trillion knocked off of our stock markets here in the United States. And you know where some of that fell into? Top Gun Options members' pockets at the height, or actually at the low, let's say, of Friday afternoon's trading. The trades that we covered last week live during our briefs were up approximately $1.5 million. And after I unwound most of them, left some on, 1.2, allow me to round down-ish a little bit, closer to $1.2 million, ladies and gentlemen. Now, men lie, numbers don't. The accelerated retirement, and we have, I have a COVID crash folder on my computer right now. This is epic. Best trading in 28 years of my life. Accelerated retirement, our conservative portfolio last week, folks. And here's all the positions. Everything, I've downloaded everything. We have proof. We got all this stuff right here. Let me just open the Excel sheet to show all the orders and everything like that. But the accelerated retirement portfolio last week, $380,000. Over $250,000 trading the S&P 500. Brazil, Amazon, Apple, and Nike pounding these things into the dirt. That's the accelerated retirement portfolio, folks. The primary live trade brief every Tuesday morning. You ready for this? At height, and there's the positions in the Excel sheet. $378,000. S&P 500, Brazil, Moderna, Gilead. The Solo, this is a separate service at Top Gun Options. It's called Solo Amazon. Told folks a week and a half ago to buy Amazon puts. It's going to implode. Amazon puts, allow me to round up, $98,000. And finally, the last one, or actually two more. Our weekly debrief we do every Thursday, folks, $149,000. I mean, seriously, the last one, and the weekly options portfolio. This is the worst that we did last week. The worst, $88,000. 88, folks. Apple, FXI, space. We made 19 grand. Pounding space into the dirt. That thing's going to implode. Gilead, Brazil, S&P 500, and Moderna. And I'm holding, and folks, by the way, the only red, if you notice on the other screen, was in Gilead calls, and the only red in this screen is Moderna. I'm holding both of those, and I'm buying more with both hands because those two companies are on the forefront of getting us a cure. So why am I giving you a brief? Because I feel bad for a lot of you. If you're not a member, I kind of feel bad with you about you. JT, 100. Glad to be on your team. This is 227.20. Screenshot. $150,000. $150,478 out of Jeffrey. Chad. Let's take a look at Chad. Bro, you're my new favorite dude. 25 grand in 2 days while the rest of my portfolio bleeds. I'm signing up, waiting for the Fed, emergency action, blah, blah, blah. Gracias, amigo. Even a small account, folks. This was a YouTube comment. I just looked at our YouTube page. Started the week with $3,600. Finished with 15 grand, folks. That's life-changing for some people. And these are just random. Let's see. Dennis, 29,000. These are all screenshots from last week, folks. $29,000 profit after 4 days on one contract. My goodness whiz. I don't know how you do it, but I'm ready for more. I'm not going to bore you with all these case studies, folks. Like I said, men lie, numbers don't. People imploded last week. I have friends who've lost their funds. They're out of work. It's a madhouse out there. Not here. Did you sign up yet? Well, first of all, we're done. The go.topgunoptions.com/joint services are full. They are done. I told you on Friday, we're done. That gave you access to weekly options and the primary live trade brief. Phone's ringing off the hook. The support emails blowing up. My Facebook messengers, people I haven't seen since like grade school are like, hey, Edward. I'm like, my name's Matthew, if you remember. Anyway, what do I do with my IRA? Not going to happen, folks. Sorry. Here's the only thing that I'm going to open up right now, folks, is solo. For solo Amazon, okay? And if you were one of the lucky folks that got into our joint briefs last week, and folks, people were in one day. I had a guy who's like, dude, I joined you on Wednesday and I was up $32,000 in 2.5 days. And he already contacted us for a lifetime membership. So here's what you need to do. If you did get into the joint services, remember, I'll see you tomorrow at 1 o'clock for weekly options, and I'll see you 10 a.m. Tuesday morning for the primary live trade brief. I strongly, strongly recommend everybody, if you're not in it already, get into solo Amazon. It's only $97 a month. I've been working, well, like my dad always said, he's like, flying fighter jets or trading, Matthew, you've never worked a day in your life. I'm like, Dad, do you not remember me working at a convenience store and cutting lawns in college? But anyway, being a busboy, a waiter, I have worked in my life. Anyway, what I'm getting at is after I get done, quote unquote, working and sending out this brief here, I'm going to go have a little Sunday funday and a couple drinks. It's going to be more than $97, folks. $97 a month. We'll give you a 25% annual discount today if you sign up for that annual membership. 25% discount. Head to go.topgunoptions.com/solo. The solo Amazon service last week, allow me to round up. It's $97,675 on Amazon puts. I think I bought 3 of them. 2 or 3 of them, folks, almost $100,000. Now, we're going to get into the brief here, but I wanted, because people are scrambling here. I get it, man. We've been into, Top Gun Options has been here for 10 years, folks. We've been doing this all along. But obviously, with this type of violence, it's even better. Options are on fire. And it's pretty amazing this week how a lot of people learned that stock can go to zero. Options can't. Now, the premium can go to zero, but my point being, if you got 1,000 shares of something and it's knocked in half right now, you're in a world of hurt. You need to learn how to trade options. Well, one final thing before I get into my brief here, because I got a lot to tell you. I got a lot of gouge and intel, and then we're locking the doors tonight, folks. And then, because I like we say here, Top Gun Options, I keep the squadron tight and small. I can't have 500 people in a live trade brief all shooting questions at me. It just doesn't work. It's physically impossible. We limit our services to 200 folks in some of them and a little bit more of that so we can be in GoToWebinar and the other ones. But you have to do the academic training. If you get into one of my briefs and say, hey, I don't know what an iron condor is, can you explain it? The answer is going to be sure. Go to this page and you're going to get an hour and a half on iron condor training. I'm not going to waste time as we're airborne to brief you on something that you should have gotten in your training. Here's where you get your training. Go.topgunoptions.com/FT-academic. Folks, this has not even been close to ending. Let's just take a look at the chart. Let me give you the bottom line up front, right? The BLUF, BLUF in the military. Holy crap, man, that's a 3-month chart. There ain't no support anywhere. We blew through the 50-day moving average, the 100-day moving average, the 200-day moving average, and where we kind of, resting our feet around here, let's look at a 1-year chart. Right around the October lows here, man. See this little drill bit all the way down on Friday? I love that, man, on Friday. I was actually flying on Friday. I just put in orders. I went flying. I'm like, I'm not going to – you don't have to be sitting here watching this, folks. I put in all my orders to close most of my positions at a price that I wanted, and when I landed, it was comical. I was like, oh, wow. So look at this. We're back to October. Kind of the market's feeling around like, hey, where can we touch bottom here? It is not even started yet, in my opinion, folks. Look at Apple. Apple is still above the 200-day moving average. This blue line right here is the 50-day moving average. The red line is the 200-day moving average. As I have told you, or Top Gun Options members, stocks and indices don't hang out in between these moving averages. They violently move. They're like magnets, either violently down or back up to. Okay, we'll talk about a potential dead bat bounce, not a dead cat anymore. It's a dead bat who's killing people all around the world. So look at Apple. Apple has a ton of downside to go until it finds support. Okay, so not even close to the selling being done. Now, why? So Friday, ladies and gentlemen, so let's just step through this. Like I said, it's going to be, if anything, it's going to be a volatile week, which is epic for options traders. And as an options trader, you ready for this? We can be bipolar, and so can me. What do I mean by that? If the Fed, and this is why we're doing this emergency Sunday brief, before Jerome Powell kind of spoke on Friday, I remember the financial crisis, like 2008-ish, 2009-ish. It seemed like every Sunday was like all the heads of the five families would meet at the New York Fed, Goldman Sachs, J.P. Morgan. Why? Because our Sunday nights, the Asian markets opened, right? So we'd be trying to unfornicate ourselves late Sunday to not destroy Asia or vice versa. So this week, if we do get some sort of dead bat bounce, you ready for this? I'm going to buy it with both hands and then sell the hell out of it. What does that mean? If we get some sort of recovery, I'm not even going to use that word. I'm going to use dead bat bounce back up towards the 200-day moving average. I'll buy that. I'll buy S&P 500 calls. I'll buy Apple calls and everything like that. And it's not going to last. It's going to fail. Through the 100-day, a little bit of a hover. Can we get back to that? Nope. Through the 200-day, we are going to go lower, folks. It is horrific out there. As markets fall, ask yourself, is now the time to buy? The answer is absolutely no. The ratio of bearish put options to bullish call options is out of this world. People, there's a hell of a lot more puts than calls. The put-call ratio is insanely inverted. And don't give me, and Mike Pence just said this. I just saw an interview. They canceled this huge energy conference in Houston. I got a buddy at United Airlines. He's an instructor in the schoolhouse. He sent me an email on Friday. He's like, dude, we just canceled 2 of our new hire pilot classes. I flew for FedEx. I flew for American. I got hired by JetBlue. I know the airline industry. When airlines stop their classes, they're getting ready to furlough pilots. I guarantee you, the airlines are done, folks. We have a motto in the airlines. You hire until you furlough, and you furlough until you hire. The airlines are going to start dumping pilots, man. Whoa, Wiz, what are you talking about, man? The stocks will come back. How do you know, man? This isn't SARS. This isn't Ebola. This is this. Does anybody and these people, they should be tried for financial malpractice. You guys know how I feel about the president last week. On Monday, after the market closed, when he's over in India, stocks are looking good to me. The dumbest tweet that guy's ever tweeted, and that's saying a lot. Stocks are looking good to me, and 4.5 days of a slaughter. Awful thing to do. And all these people out here saying, oh, how do you know, folks? There is no broker on the face of this planet that lets you trade off the left side of a chart. My job is to give you intelligence briefings, and I'll show you what I'm doing to predict the right side of a chart. My call sign's Wiz, not Nostradamus, but I've nailed this, folks. I nailed this to the day, and I nailed this to the couple days. And $1.5 million in Top Gun options covered trades last week. We know what we're talking about. The folks that are telling you to buy stocks right now, you know why they're telling you to buy them? Because they're broke. They blew out. All these people on Facebook, like, people are so stupid selling, and that's because they're getting margin calls, and they want you to buy stocks to help them out. We're going to pound this into the dirt, folks. So this time might be different. I get it, man. After 9/11, Pets.com implosion, the tech implosion in 2000, the financial crisis in 2008, 9/11, the 87 crash. Markets always come back, Wiz. I've always said that until they don't. Folks, Italy, my wife's birthday is the end of April. I was going to take her to the Amalfi Coast and surprise her and stuff like that. Done. Not going to Italy. The CDC came out the other day and gave a travel warning in Italy. Folks, that's Italy. It ain't China. So my airline buddies are like, my God, man, I don't even want to fly to Italy. This is the world coming unglued. Now, for all of you fools out there, and I use that term as a compliment because you're just completely stupid. If you're sitting there going, more people die from the regular flu than this thing, it's overhyped by the media, you're going to tell me that world governments are going apeshit right now because it's, quote, the normal flu. They're lying to you. It is not the normal flu. I know for a fact. This thing was a chemistry experiment. Somebody playing around in the only level 4 biological warfare lab in China. Big country, folks. Where's that lab? In Wuhan. A couple miles away from where the, quote, ground zero, patient zero was. Senator Tom Cotton from Arkansas 2 months ago said this. Nobody has come out and denied that. Everybody in government has come out and said, well, we don't know the origins, but of course they know the origins. They're lying to us. Folks, if it is the, quote, regular flu, why are countries shutting down? Come on, man. I'm sick of people saying that stuff. And you ready for this? The World Health Organization, the CDC, and most governments are saying, hey, we're looking maybe 1% to 2% mortality rate. My God, ladies and gentlemen, what's 2% of 8.3 million New Yorkers? 172,000. How do you think? I already got an email that says the New York Stock Exchange might be closing. The floor. No people on the floor, folks. Coronavirus is different. Almost no company is safe. Let's go through this real quick. Italy is imploding, man. Their confirmed cases have jumped 42 overnight. A dude died in Washington State. Unknown how he got it. Rhode Island, folks, reported coronavirus case. The dude was in Italy recently. Iran, Iraq, Bahrain. This thing is ripping around the world. If you think it's just the flu, be happy and go on your way, and you buy stocks right here. If this thing is what I think it is, there is no bottom in sight. Okay, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to be doing at the open here in a couple minutes, but let me finish my brief, folks. This isn't even close to being a bottom. Okay, a couple weeks ago, look at this. They were burning currency in China. The Central Bank of China said burn. They saw it on video. They burnt like 600 million in bills. You want to walk around touching dirty dollar bills, folks? This time is different. And I say this so many times, ladies and gentlemen, I want to be wrong. What are you talking about, Wiz? When I'm wrong, people live. 2.5 years ago, I told you that we're going to attack North Korea. We have 3 carrier strike groups in the Pacific. I got buddies on each ship that command the air wings and the ships, and they're going. They were going, folks, until Trump sent a picture to Kareem of some young guy in North Korea with a bullseye on his head from a predator. And the president said, we're not going to kill 25 million North Koreans. We're going to kill you. And he blinked. I was wrong. I love being wrong. If we had attacked North Korea, man, the stock market would be at zero. I want to be wrong about this. So let me put my flight suit on as an American and tell you that, man. I feel horrific people are suffering. My God, what a horrible death. I had the flu this year. 51 years on this planet. I just thought people who had the flu had like a bad cold and they were wusses. I had the flu. I thought I was going to die. I'm like, if I ever thought that about you, you had the flu and I thought it was just a bad cold, you're allowed to punch me in the face, man. I apologize. I got it. So human suffering is awful. But I'm not going to lay in the corner and suck on my thumb. I'm going to print money as people panic. The markets trade off of fear and greed, and people are fearful, and I'm going to get greedy. You should too. I've always said that the Fred Sanford, the grab in your chest, this is the big one, Elizabeth, I'm coming, will happen when central banks jump in to save capitalism, and it doesn't work. Who was it? Dallas Fed President Fisher on Friday kind of said, we will maybe not act right now, but if things get worse. And then out of the blue, later in the day, Jerome Powell, the Fed chief, stepped in and said, we're here, break glass in case of emergency. The last time I checked, Jerome Powell is not a virologist. The last time I checked, when the Fed injects liquidity into the banking system, it doesn't fix a dying person in the ICU. I made several career calls, folks, that have turned out to be true. The election of Donald Trump and the market rally, the implosion of the FANGs about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, on their own stupidity and liberal hubris, and this. I'm getting very close to saying this is the big one. Think about it, folks. On the way up with this market rally, I'm sitting here going, why is the Fed doing open market operations? Why are they doing not QE, QE4? If everything's super fun, fantastic time, why are they printing money? And I warned you that the Fed printing money when things are good, what the hell are they going to do when, not if, things go bad? And they're very bad right now. Don't listen to your idiot friends on Facebook or family going, this is worse, or it's not as bad as the normal flu. It's not the normal flu. I showed you an article last week from the South China Morning Post. World physicians say that this is worse than SARS and Ebola because this flu has some HIV mutation in it. Do your own research, folks. And the people that are saying, oh, the liberal media is making this actually worse. Hey, man, when it comes down to a global pandemic, I'd rather freak the hell out than under freak out. Freaking the hell out keeps you alive. Not freaking out keeps you dead. Use your brain, folks. I'm always going to give you respectful truth over artificial harmony. I'm not going to blow sunshine anywhere. Don't have time for that. So, and the other reason I waited until Sunday afternoon to kind of give this a little bit of an emergency brief here is because before Jerome Powell said we're kind of here, if he didn't say anything on Friday, I was expecting something today. But remember this, ladies and gentlemen, whenever you hear the Fed and emergency, it's usually not good. If the Fed steps in with, quote, an emergency rate cut, we might get a day, a half a day, 2 days, 3 days of a bounce, but that's purely machines, folks. When the New York Fed kind of injects stuff into their veins, into the financial system's veins, the computers see it and buy on that. And then a dude like me goes, wait a minute, the Fed's pumping money into this dead body because they think things are horrible. And then implosion. So I will buy any bounce now, not last week, folks. I told you never to buy anything last week. I don't know how many texted calls people are like, aha, Wiz, you were wrong. Look, the market's down off its 1,000-point lows and it's recovering. I'm like, okay, good, you're buying right now? Whatever you're buying, I'm going to sell it to you with both hands. Another leg down. Oh, Wiz, no, this is the day. No, I'll buy. And I've been 1.5 million reasons why we were right last week, folks, and we're going to do it again. What am I doing at the open? Well, the first thing you need to do is go get your solo Amazon slot so you can see what I'm doing with Amazon tomorrow afternoon. Solo Amazon is every Monday at 3 o'clock. So tomorrow afternoon, you can do solo Amazon at 3 o'clock. Go.topgunoptions.com/solo, $97. I need to wrap up here in a couple minutes because I am going to go have a Sunday cocktail out here at the beach because this is great. And again, it sucks, but it's Gordon Gekko moment. And unfortunately, I can't respond to all the emails, the texts, the phone calls, and stuff like that, folks. You got to become a member. Like I said, old high school friends I haven't talked to in 30, 40 years, asking for stock advice. First of all, I don't give stock advice. But anyway, folks, or the joint service, go.topgunoptions.com/joint. But here's what Uncle Wiz plans on doing. And we'll see how Asia opens tonight, right? Yeah, Houston Energy Conference canceled. This is what I was ranting about earlier, even though this seems like one big rant. Pence says markets will recover. How does he know? He's going on history. How many of you watch the NASCAR, the Daytona 500? How many of those dudes race around the Daytona 500 looking in the rearview mirror? History, in this case, doesn't mean shit, Mr. Vice President, with all due respect. You have no idea if markets recover. If this thing is a pandemic and races through New York City and 172,000 New Yorkers are dead, San Francisco, you do the math, folks. LA, do the math. The 1 to 2% in a population. I love people on social media. Oh, the mortality rate's only 1% to 2%. I'm like, only? How many million Americans are there, folks? Do the math. My God, folks. Can't stand people out there trying to tamp this stuff down. Donald Trump's press conference last week was a national embarrassment. I didn't watch the one on Friday. Why? I was flying. I didn't want to watch it because he could only do worse. What was it, Tuesday, Wednesday night? Whenever the first one was, what an embarrassment. The Fed and Bernie Sanders are why the market's down. Why are you having a press conference about coronavirus and blaming the market being down on them? Furious with the president and his response. I'm furious with the Democrats and their politicization of it. I get it, folks, but at the end of the day, we're going to sleep on a big stack of money. Okay, so at the open tomorrow, again, full disclaimer, I got to see how Asia opens, folks. Going to go watch sunset on the beach, and then I'm going to see how Asia opens. If it's getting obliterated, we're going to be obliterated. And I will, at the open, buy the shit out of Apple, S&P 500, Nike. Oh, I haven't even mentioned Brazil. We've been pounding Brazil into, holy crap, look at that thing. For the past month, we've been pounding Brazil into the dirt. Everything, listen to current TGO members, everything that we've pounded last week, I will pound again into the dirt. I'm holding the Moderna and Gilead calls, folks. Those are our long balls. Real quick reminder, once you become a member, folks, go underneath member content here and go to your member content. Go watch the weekly options brief from last week, the primary brief. Go watch these briefs. Even though they were a couple days ago, they show you the trades and what we were shorting or being bearish on and what we're going to be bearish on this week. Now, let me say that, and remember, go watch. Here's the rest of your Sunday, folks. Start watching the Full Throttle training. We did our first Full Throttle training last Tuesday night at 7, and then we did this one Thursday night at 6 o'clock. Both these recordings are on here. If you pay for the Full Throttle training, go watch last week's. I want to pound the desk like Khrushchev or Jim Cramer, just as bald and just as crazy. Get in here, watch the training, and watch everything that happened last week. Okay, now let me say this, a little bit more of guidance. If Asia, for whatever reason, the PBOC just puts a bayonet to everybody's head and says buy stocks, if Asia bounces tonight for some reason and our futures are up in the morning, I might be buying at the open. But as I briefed earlier, it's going to be a short-lived rally. It hasn't even started yet, folks. I got an email on Saturday from the Palm Beach County school system that says they were monitoring somebody for a kid for potential, and that schools may have to be closed. How many parents in Palm Beach County, if their kids are at home, there goes, I ain't going to work today. I can't afford health care. Or I'm sorry, child care. I'm not even going to get into it, folks. What I'm saying is, if the market imploded based on China imploding, South Korea, Japan, and Italy, and the economy is imploding in the stock markets, what happens to us when it rips around America? I didn't say if it rips around America. I said when. Rhode Island? And remember, folks, these people didn't sit in a room for 14 days and then test positive. The dude that died in Washington State and all the cases here in America, they were walking around, man, and then felt like shit, went to the hospital, and oh boy, there's a positive test. Folks, use your brain. I'm sorry. A lot of people got wiped out last week, but at the end of the day, if world markets are imploding, we're going to print money off of it, and I absolutely will never apologize for teaching you how to trade. Trading is a form of combat. Somebody's going to get their ass handed to them, and somebody's going to be at the bar like I'm going to right now to have a celebratory drink. Again, thanks for all the kind comments and the emails and everything like that. Your success is my success, folks, and I'm absolutely thrilled with all of you and what we're doing here at Top Gun Options. Like I said, folks, we've been doing this for 10 years, not just out of the blue. Yay, we've been printing money in the background, but this is, $1.5 million in 5 days of trading is just absolutely epic, and those are based on $100,000 individual model portfolios. Okay, and I'll teach you how to do this, folks. Okay, all right, I got to go. Great day. Looking forward to a great week. And let me wrap on a high note. I want to be wrong. I'd love nothing more than a month from now for you guys to start emailing me and saying, haha, Wiz, you were wrong. But guess what? When or if this thing turns around, I'm going to do the exact opposite of what I've been doing, folks. This ain't rocket surgery. Just because if the market recovers and we have what they call a V recovery, I'm going to be buying it with both hands, folks. I got an extra 1.2-ish, whatever, to do that. So, I want to, it doesn't matter, folks, whether I'm wrong or right. We can still be printing money. All right, I got to go. Like I said, what's open right now? Go.topgunoptions.com/solo. Get in the solo Amazon service for $97 or get a 25% discount and do the annual membership. Have a great rest of your day. I'll see many of you tomorrow, man. It's going to be an epic week here at Top Gun Options. God bless, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. We'll see.